Hello people and welcome to the People Building newsletter online. So this is the article that goes out in the newsletter and also within the People Building podcast. And actually, I didn't write this article today. This article that I'm sharing with you is from one of our NLP4Kids practitioners. His name is Lewis Aleta. You can hear a little bit more about the story behind how Lewis came to be writing articles for us and actually becoming part of the NLP4Kids team as well by listening to the People Building podcast. Now, if you don't get that already, you can subscribe to it via iTunes. Just go to your iTunes browser and type in People Building in amongst the podcast section. You'll find us on there. Or just on Google, if you type in People Building podcast, I'm sure we'll pop up there somewhere. But here is the article. So you can find this on the People Building website by going over to resources and selecting down to articles. This particular one is called If You Don't Ask, Then You Don't Get. I love the whole idea of the phrase, if you don't ask, then you don't get, as it is literally as simple as that. In my past experiences, there are times when things just seem to click into place with very little or almost no effort on my behalf whatsoever. Until I understood how to harness manifestation and blind faith, not the biblical God kind of faith, those occasions of smooth living were very rare. As I'm sure you can agree, life can sometimes be a constant uphill struggle. The phrase 2 steps forward, 10 steps back sums this up perfectly. That's exactly how 90% of life seemed to be to me. Or so I thought until I met a man called Andy. Now Andy was a kind of genie in that he would grant you your wishes. Not literally, I want a Ferrari, poof, a little sprinkle of fairy dust, and before your eyes there was a brand new spanking red Ferrari. He would give you the almost magic tools to be able to make those wishes come true. So he would teach you tools and techniques to make the money to be able to afford your Ferrari. If your wishes weren't material and something like, I wish I wasn't afraid of spiders, then he would give you the tools to be rid of that phobia forever. One of his most common tools that he often shared with people was that to understand how to manifest the results that you want. His belief was that there is some kind of higher power or being at work, but not in the religious sense, more like a kind of karma. He simply called this the universe. Now, stay with me on this, as I'm not the airy-fairy type. His theory was that if you ask the universe for what you want, then it shall provide. This is the first stage of this process. I call it the put it out there stage. I guess you could say you affirm it and put it out there. I personally dislike the word affirm or affirmation with a passion, as it's overused in an airy-fairy way. You're very lucky to get it out of me twice. Then stage 2 kicks in, and that's to be able to have blind faith. No matter what your thoughts on the matter may be, you just have to have faith and believe that it will come to you eventually. This itself takes time to learn. Repeat stages 1 and 2 a few times. Now, here's the science behind what happens when you've done these 2 stages. You have part of your brain that is called the reticular activating system, or the RAS for short. Now, your RAS acts like a radar. The best way to understand your RAS is like this. I'm sure most of you have gone and bought yourself a new car, you lucky things. You drive it off the forecourt or from wherever you pick the car up from. You get in, inhale that breath of fantastic new car smell and hit the road. Now, as you're driving along, you start to notice other people driving the same car as you. The same make, the same model, and even the same colour. You also notice that at the end of the road, someone else has exactly the same car. That is your RAS working perfectly. So what's just happened is that something of importance has been brought into your consciousness. You're fully aware of it. When this happens, your RAS does its radar job and unconsciously scans your surroundings and makes you aware of other things that are relevant or similar. You may notice the car adverts of your car more. So if you can ask for what you want and not what you don't want, then your brain is wired up to make you win. You will need to repeat stages 1 and 2 a few times to keep your RAS looking for the right things. Now, remember, I mentioned the RAS will find similarities to what you want, not an exact copy. This leads us on to the 3rd and final step. Keep your eyes open. Do as it says on the tin. Your wish may present itself to you in a similar form, not exactly as you imagined it. This is also very common, and people miss the opportunity to grab their wish. So be prepared and don't let ignorance get in your way. So to sum all that up, make a wish and put it out there, verbalize it and do that loudly. Have blind faith and just believe. When you verbalize it, mean it, or at the very least act as if you mean it, you've got much more chance. Put it out there some more. Keep your eyes open. It will show up when you least expect it, and perhaps in different ways to what you first thought. My final word of advice is be careful what you wish for. How to make your wish count will be a follow-on article on how to ask for what you want in the right way. It's coming soon from Mr. Lewis Aleta, and hopefully I'll be sharing it with you here on the People Building video podcast. Thank you for listening, and goodbye.